Merry Christmas. We're in the middle of finals, and today was the last day, I think, and we've had a couple days off. Got back in the gym on Monday right away. Had a good workout, I thought, and then we've had 2 days off, so we've got 4 practices now, really, to make hay. We've got to get better. These next 4 days are going to be critical to what we do in the next 3 games and probably beyond, to be honest with you. So we'll have a good workout today, and then I think finals are over today, and then we've got Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday we'll get up and work out here before we go down to Lafayette. Saturday I'm going to get a chance to see my son walk the stage and graduate with his master's, and I'm certainly proud of him, and so they'll have practice here on Saturday without me, but just really looking forward to getting back in the gym and fixing some of our issues.
We'll take players for the questions and we'll dismiss them so they can get ready for practice. Start with Danny.
Jessica, Coach talked about your production over the first part of the season a little bit. What do you attribute that to? Is it just tell me how you think this is transpired.
I could be better. I mean, it looks good, but I'm still working on getting better every day, getting tougher. Like, that's the main piece I'm working. What I need to work on is getting tougher, boxing out. So I mean, yeah, my stats are good. I'm proud of. Well, I don't want to say I'm proud of that because I know I can do better. So I'm okay with it, but I know I can be better. So I'm gonna get better.
Good, man.
Just kind of in that same vein, I mean, Vic was talking about how, it's against Stanford, you're drawing double teams and things like that. What's that been like for you to transition to that, where teams are game planning for you now, and what's that been like approaching games?
It's getting harder, so I have to get smarter with my moves and what I do with the ball, how being patient with it. So just working on that.
Go to Robbie.
Jess, have a couple of post players behind you that haven't played a whole lot of minutes the last couple of years in your mind, Promise. Where do you feel like they are coming behind you, and how close do you feel like they are to really spelling you and giving you some good minutes?
We're getting better in practice as long as we continue to work and practice, go against each other, like really compete against each other. They'll be ready, and we'll be able to rotate more.
Go back again.
I think you ended up playing like 35 minutes the other night against West Virginia, but you and Aaliyah have kind of traded off a bit this year. How do you feel like you guys are, complimenting each other so far, and how far along do you feel like she's coming, at least in the early going this season?
I feel like I repeat myself a lot, but she has this confidence. Like I said, she's gonna make you guard her, and that's a piece that I have to work on as well, as having that offensive threat. Like he mentioned earlier, just getting double teamed against my man. So I need to get in the gym, as I have been, but get in the gym and working on my shot so I can make people guard me. And then it will be easier on Jess as well, so they can't help off me because I'm going to be the offensive threat. So I'll continue working on my game. I know Aaliyah will continue working on her game, competing every day in practice and things like that. So she's going to continue to get better. Everybody on the team is going to continue to get better. We're going to go in film. We're going to look at the things that we need to work on, and we're going to apply that in practice. And the coaches they're tough on us, as they should be, because we're not where we should be right now. But I definitely think with their help and us trusting in the coaches and believing that what they're telling us is true, and just believing in the system and in each other, then I just feel like they will definitely bounce back.
What has it been like for you, sort of trying to be a little bit more offensive-minded and maybe get to the hoop a little bit more, take a few more shots? What's that been like, sort of transitioning to that a little bit more with Jess drawing the attention that she is inside?
Definitely, I think it's just having that confidence, and then I'm going to make this shot. I'm kind of a pass-first point guard, but being too passive is not just a great thing. Just like I said, just making my opponent guard me, and being attacking, just things like that. I've been working on it, and I just think it's a big confidence thing, just knowing, being comfortable with that specific shot and knowing that it's going to go in and taking those shots in practice and working on it in practice. that's the only way I'll get better. So just continue to have that mindset and practice, knowing that I need to be more of an offensive threat. And that doesn't mean just jack up shots. No, that's not what I'm saying. But you know, just making them guard me, and it's gonna make our offense flow better. It's gonna free up Jess, and she's not gonna be able to me. She's gonna be able to go to work like she usually do. So.
Any other questions for the players? We'll dismiss them and then we'll take questions from Coach. Thank you all. Questions for Coach? Start with Ben.
Vic, kind of piggybacking on that, how have you seen Myah kind of embrace being a little bit more focused, more offensive, being more of a threat on the offensive end, and how much have you guys talked about that as something to sort of work on in practice, at least in the last week or so?
Well, she knows, and you know that's something that I think she's got to continue to work on. So, you know, she's really good finishing, driving to the rim, and she's really good at that. And she made a little runner the other night in the game. But you know, whoever's playing that position, whoever's playing on the floor for us, you have to carry your own weight, both ends. So, if you can't guard, they're going to know that, and they're going to attack you. If you can't score, they ain't going to guard you. So that's just the nature of the beast at this level. It hasn't changed in the last 34 years that I've been doing it, 35 now.
Logan.
Vic, you talked about how important the next 4 days are for this team, but just the next 2-3 weeks, you know, when it's just only basketball, you've got finals behind you, how much will you try to use that? You talked about how young this group is, just try to use that, you know, with only basketball the next couple of weeks to try to get this team ready for SEC play. Yeah,
I mean, it's going to be big for us. We're fixing to get on the floor at 2, and we'll lift afterwards. And you know, tomorrow we've got to get on the floor early, and we're limited because of graduation and practice facilities not being available. So we'll get up early tomorrow morning, go 7 to 9:30, and the guys will come on at 9:30. But we only have one floor available, and then Saturday and Sunday. You know, be big days for us also. So we've got to go to work. I mean, we've got to get better. We've got to address some of these things, and we've got to fix it. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, we've got to fix it. And again, we make 6 more free throws, shoot 62% on Sunday. We win the game by 5 instead of losing by 5. And then all these problems are masked, and you don't deal with them. And so I think it's good. You know, I think we've addressed them as a staff. We addressed them Monday at practice, and in the next 4 days we'll continue to do that.
What, Danny?
Coach, I know it makes you proud probably to hear Jessica over there saying she's not satisfied where she is, even though she's averaging a double-double. And as you said, the luncheons got the stats at this time last year, Tierra had pretty much.
Yeah, you know, the thing Jessica probably doesn't realize is that, you know, the stats say she's really impacting our team than she is. What she doesn't realize is the impact that she can have on our team in maybe as much as anybody. I just think that her you know, her potential's off the chart. Her top end she's not even close to it. And a lot of what's left for her then is, right now to me, is polish around the basket, feeling the double team, and then the understanding of how physical it is down there, and she's got to be physical back, and so she's getting pushed around a lot right now, and you know, I've got to help her in dealing with that, and at the same time, I think we've got to teach her, and she's got to learn to be a little bit more physical. I think that's the piece that's really keeping her from just being incredible, you know, and she's really good right now. I love her to death. I think she's made so much headway and improved so much, but when she gets the physical piece and being able to play that way, she is going to be one hard person to deal with.
Ben.
Vic, you're talking about the luncheon, and you've talked about it this year, needing maybe a little bit more leadership, and obviously you have a young team, so it doesn't come necessarily naturally with having seniors. But are there any folks that you see that maybe need to take more of a leadership role this year? Or is there any way to sort of provoke more leadership or anything like that you see?
Well, again, I think, I think we have some players that are pretty fairly consistent, let's say that. And I think when you get one or two that are going to be that every day on the floor and they're consistent, then in the classroom as well. We have some that are really good in the classroom, but we'd like to see them more consistent on the floor. I think when you get that piece where you got those couple, 2, 3, 4 people that are consistently, doing it in all phases of life, I think that's when you're showing people how to do it correctly. You're giving them a visual of what it looks like to be a pro. And so, I think that's, the challenge right now for us, guys, we can't, I can't, there's not a player that can. We have a lot of immaturity from a standpoint we can't be placed on time. It's really a challenge right now in a lot of different ways. And so that's the thing for me right now that we've got to do. We've got to develop that discipline and understanding the importance of that. There's a respect value in that as well. Respecting other people's time. And so it continues to be a work in progress for us right now.
Robbie?
You mentioned Jessica's impact whenever she's in the ball game, but got into foul trouble in the third quarter the other day. You had some good minutes from you, Myah, but how comfortable are you with either her or Promise in the game right now if Jessica gets in foul trouble? And where do you feel like they're at in their progression?
Yeah, so, Jessica's foul issues probably have more to do with our guards' inability to defend and keep the ball in front of them. And then, Myah and Promise to me are lagging behind right now. Really, to be honest with you, I think their development has been disappointing. And, I know Coach is working with them daily. And, but just their commitment to doing what they need to do, missing treatments, got to be in there. If you're hurt or you're injured or you got something, you need to be in treatment. Just that, again, this is what we're dealing with our team right now. These are all discipline things that getting kids to understand and realize the importance of, and that's being a pro. It ain't nothing to do with being a pro basketball player. That's just being a pro in the workplace. And so, again, that's the immaturity that we have. And so we've got to keep coaching and teaching. And again, they're so much fun. They're great kids and I love them, but that's the piece that'll get you beat in a one-possession game. It's cost me 2 games, in my opinion. Our lack of discipline off the floor carries on to on the floor. So then in those games where it's a one-possession game, as I've told y'all, we've got the poem, it's only one possession. Well, yeah, it was only one possession in both of our losses. Really, you can look at a lot of different one possessions and see it. And so that's our job as coaches, is to continue to impress upon them the importance of doing the little things. We've built a culture and a discipline around here on doing the little things. And so, this is part of our challenge as coaches. It's what we do. And so, we have a little bit more of it than normal, I'd say.
Anything else? All right, thanks, guys.
Appreciate y'all. Merry Christmas. Praise the Lord and go Dogs.